course they did with the late field goal. So the Ohio State fans, you guys got a championship and a cover. I was hoping that you wouldn't cover on the way out, but you get the cover. Mick Aussie in the house with us. Mick, we'll get to the NFL, but Australian Open is rolling on right now, and you got Djokovic and Alcaraz coming up tonight as the main event. It's a little bit late, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. But what do you think of the Aussie Open so much? And it's always something with Joker. Even though the crowd seems to like him more now, I mean, he faked the vaccination stuff. I mean, most people would never be allowed in Australia ever again after that. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. But now he was crying about the network and the way that they talked about him in Serbia or whatever. And, like, it never ends with this guy.
Yeah, mate, it was the biggest overreaction I've ever seen in this pathetic woke world that we have on Twitter and X. I nearly quit yesterday. I got caught up in it. It was disgraceful, mate. This Tony Jones was simply having a joke. It was Aussie humour, Aussie sarcasm. And Djokovic has been going there for 20-plus years. He should have realised that. He's probably the GOAT with all these titles. He should have just brushed it off and not said anything. Say, hey, why would I even waste my time listening to this guy? He did it for his own attention because he's arrogant and he doesn't read the room. It was unbelievable, and the amount of ex-players and media that stuck up for him. It's a disgrace, mate. It's one of the worst overreactions I've ever seen. Tony Jones shouldn't have said it just for the simple fact that he works for the main broadcaster, Channel 9, and he should have realised of this overreaction. It's disgraceful, mate. I hope Alcaraz beats him in 3 sets. Joker's lucky to be in Australia. And like Tony Jones said, all he says was, he just dissed the crowd a bit. He was having a joke, mate. It was pathetic. Twitter wasted time yesterday on it, I did.
But I'll tell you what, like Djokovic is one of these guys that he gets motivated by any slight, right? That's what these great champions do that have been around for a long time. They need sources of motivation. So they need a villain, right? They need somebody, they need a target. They need a villain to sort of drive them. And Djokovic is really good at manufacturing villains, and it gets them motivated. It's sort of by design with him. So I just tuned into the Tommy Paul match, and did he just win that game? Because he was up 3-1. Is it 4-1 now or 3-2? What just happened there? Let's see. With Tommy Paul and Zverev. 4-1 Tommy Paul. He's battling back Matthias right now. Tommy Paul's showing a little bit of signs of life. He's going to win this set, the second set.
You know what, Gabe? It doesn't surprise me for him to fight. It doesn't. I want to see what he's going to do in the third set. You know, these big players like Zverev and these top guys, that's why they're not Djokovic, and that's why they're not Alcaraz or Sinner. They don't take sets off, those guys. Zverev will take a set off, but then he'll rebound. That's what makes him great. He's great at rebounding. He doesn't fear losing one set. So let's see what he does. And you know what? Let's see if Tommy Paul actually finishes off this set. He's only up a break.
Yeah, up 4-1 right now. So you're not happy with Djokovic and how he handled things. And I saw Mick online. You weren't very happy with the NFL officiating with Patrick Mahomes. And listen, I said earlier, people are always going to complain about officials, and people are going to complain about the best team all the time. I get it. Listen, I'm a Dodger fan, and people hate us now, so it is what it is when you're on top. But the Dodgers don't get every call from the umpires. Like, you know what I mean? They don't get any bias really. It's hard to say that Patrick Mahomes at this point isn't getting biased calls in his way. And anybody saw, like even casual fans, not just people who don't like the Chiefs.
Oh, mate, and that was another huge uproar on Twitter. And again, from very reputable people in media and ex-players, namely Troy Aikman, who called it out on Fox. And he'll get backlash, but good on Troy Aikman. And what really upset me was Mahomes, the flopping flog. I mean, when he flopped, that was disgraceful. Mahomes is a brilliant player. I don't think I've ever dissed him until now. When you flop like that, that's disgraceful, mate. And the best thing I loved is because this time last week, I said it was going to be this way, that Roger Goodell was in love with Taylor Swift and they'd get favoured. And it's true, mate. So you guys, the Bills, you have to be 2 touchdowns better on Sunday to win by 3. I believe that. I believe you will win. Your coach, mate, I got to hand it to McDermott and the other coaches. You out-coached Sean Payton and you out-coached Harbaugh yesterday was brilliant. That first half, your defense, mate, sensational. You hardly even noticed Lamar and Henry in that first half. And Von Miller picking up that ball for the run back. I saw he played quite a bit yesterday. He's a bit heavier these days, but he's back playing, and I'm hoping your Bills go in and beat KC players and the refs. It's disgraceful. NFL are not reading the room. They better not favor him this week, otherwise so many people will be disgusted, and I can't stand it if it's going to be Chiefs and Eagles. I hope it's Commanders and Bills, and I think it might be.
You know, the Houston Texans, though, they don't have a lot of respect from the league. You know what I mean? You know, they get the early TV game all the time. They don't have a big fan base, like outside of Houston, etc. Buffalo is a little different. You got Josh Allen. Yeah. You know, the Bills are a really good team. So they won't screw the Bills as much. Now, it doesn't mean there won't be a call here or there, but they've already announced that it's Clete Blakeman who's going to be the referee of this game. And it's by standards, like you can almost tell that the league doesn't want people thinking there's a bias. And if you look at Blakeman's numbers, there's, you can't say that he favors Kansas City, actually, and we'll get you guys the stats. But what do you think, Mick, of Washington and Philadelphia? I know you don't like the Eagles either, actually. So you'd like to see Buffalo and Washington in the Super Bowl. You think the Commanders can pull off the upset?
Oh, mate, what a game that was against the Lions. And that Jaden Daniels, he's absolutely fantastic. The one thing I am worried about, though, is Barclay. He is great. And the Commanders are 29th in rush defense. Ouch, that's a worry. If Barclay gets going, they're in trouble. But I think the Commanders can win. Definitely take them on the plus, and I really hope they beat the Eagles because the Commanders are more of a close-knit team. Eagles can say what they want. They got individual players there. They're not a close-knit team. They're a clown as a coach. I hope they get beaten. And wouldn't it be great to see the Commanders and the Bills in the Super Bowl? Something completely different. Be fantastic. I think Commanders can do it. I really do.
Looking at the official, so as I mentioned, Clete Blakeman, the Chiefs are 5-6 straight up in the last 11 games that he's been the official. And most of the numbers is usually one-sided the other way. 5-6 straight up, but he hasn't done a game with them since last year's Christmas Day game, which they lost 2014 for the record. So just we'll get in. We'll have Joe on later in the week. NFL Ref Stats 1 on Twitter X. Mick Aussie in the house with us. So Mick, well, we'll see who's going to next time you and I speak on this show. We're going to know who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I really hope it's your Bills. And let's be honest, this is what I'm worried. The NFL owners, they're money hungry. They want the Chiefs in there. That's what I'm really worried about. And I'm not normally a conspiracy theory guy. You know that, but I am on this one, mate.
See you, Mick.
See you later.
Would you rather listen to Sports Grid or sit in your driveway every night waiting to wish on a shooting star while your neighbors get increasingly concerned? This is the Sports Grid Radio Network.
The new Sports Grid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the Sports Grid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the Sports Grid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Sports Grid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on Sports Grid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. Sports Grid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Moneyline at 11 a.m. Eastern.